Hey guys, Arlene here responding to day one of Reflect 31. Today's challenge is empathy and how do I teach that in class? How I teach everything in class. I reflect on the needs of my students and I bring that into the classroom, and that was so evident last year. I'll tell you a story, sorry, hope you have time. So actually 1 year ago I was at a vase competition at State Vase with one of my students, and her sister was put into the hospital and was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes. And fast forward to a year later, I saw a video about a student that was raising money for her own diabetic alert dog through the sale of her art. And I sent that video to the parent of that student, of my student, and said, hey, I think that your younger daughter, the one that was type 1 diabetes, that has type 1 diabetes, would appreciate this. Maybe she can get herself a dog, you never know. And so I thought that was going to be the end of it. I was just sending a video on, and I got the response. I said, I showed that to my daughter and she said, you know, yeah mom, I do, I want a dog and this would be a great way to get one, but I don't need it first. Cam needs it first. And Cameron is a student that was getting ready to graduate, and he has diabetes type 1 as well, and he was in need of a diabetes alert dog because when students go off to college, they no longer have their parents there to help them. And what happens with type 1, sometimes the students will, when people are asleep, they'll go into a low, and even if they have an alarm, it won't necessarily wake them up because their sugar has dropped so low so fast. And if the mom's not there to hear that alarm, or if their roommate's not there, what have you, they may never wake up. And unfortunately, this happens so much more than you would ever realize. In the few months that I was made aware of this, within about a 5-month period of time, they had about 5 different students throughout the nation that had, college students that had died from type 1 diabetes because they just had not woken up. And so she wanted to get Cameron a dog so the dog would wake him up so he could take his medicine. I'm wearing my sunglasses not just because it's sunshiny, but because also it makes me cry so much to think that a 6th grader would be willing to do this for a senior who she had only met once, briefly. She didn't know him, she just knew of him. And so anyway, we set off to do this. I said, let's do this, let's figure this out. And through generous donations from the community, through sales of artwork, necklaces, and t-shirts, and different events, within 60 days we had raised the $15,000, and this would not have happened if that 6th grader didn't have empathy for others. So that's my story, and that's just one way of reflecting on your students' needs and bringing those to the forefront of the classroom, and giving them the opportunity to help out and to serve others. So thank you so much for this opportunity to share my story, and I look forward to seeing everyone else's. Bye!